Hi, first, here's your video recording for Allegro Molto by Mozart. Biggest thing to remember for this piece, remember, is the key signature. We have two flats, B flat and E flat. We're in the key of G minor. So you're going to have low ones except for on the G string, all low twos, naturals, B flat as well on the G string, and then low four on A, low four on E. No open E's are allowed because they're all E flats, so be careful of that. Unless, of course, which does happen in the piece, you've got an E natural, and then in that case, of course, that will be an open E or however you're playing it. We're going to do this slowly because the point of this is to make sure you're playing it in tune, the right flats, the right fingerings, and we'll stop quite frequently too to make sure that you're shifting to third position in the right place. But let's take it from the top. I'm going to count it in 4. Like I said, we're going to go on the slower side, and you're starting on your first E flat, your first low 4, and 3 beats and we're in. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so here's the first place we're going to pause for a minute. So you're going to third position on a low 2, B flat. Right, half step between 2 and 1. And like I said in class, I'm not crazy about the fingering I gave you guys originally with this low 4. If this works for you, fantastic, do it. If it doesn't, try going from a low 3 to a high 3. So the whole issue, of course, with this fingering is that you have a C natural on the E string, but then they give you an accidental F sharp on the A string. So your fingers aren't right across. One's a low 3, one's a high 3. So we could solve that, like I wrote in there, by laying your low 4 across, but it's such a tight half step, it's very hard to get in tune. So if it works better and you're going to be in tune on it, go ahead and go from low 3 to a high 3, and just know that that's a half step across. All right, so here's the pickup to measure 10. Third position, low 2. 1, 2, 3. First. 2, 3. Third position. First. Alright, so you notice I just went to third position there, and now I'm set up to do these scales. 2 fingers you have to watch out for in these scales. The first one is your second finger. On the A string, we have an E natural accidental, so that's a whole step away from your 1. On the E string, however, though, it's a B flat, so half step between 1 and 2. So that's going to be different from string to string. The other finger is your fourth finger. On the A string, it's just a normal G. Okay, but on the E string, it's a D flat, low 4, next to your 3. All right, so be careful those 2 fingers. E natural to B flat, G to D flat. You're going across. All right, so here's the pick up to 34. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, next part, 44, we're up in third position. Chromatic scale, 3, high 2 for E natural, then low 2 for E flat, and then slurring down across in third position down those 16ths. All right, so here's 44, third finger in third position. Ready, and 2, 3, 2, 3. Next page, 1, 2, low 4. Nice D flats. so let's pause for a minute and look at what we just played. All right, so going back to measure 62, you have 3 octaves of D flats that you're trying to get across. So we're starting on that low 4 on G, then to a low 3, and then somewhere in the course of that measure, doesn't matter where, but get up to 3rd position, replace that with a 1. Then you've got that, and then low 4 right across. So you've got 4 octaves of D flats. And then you go up a half step to your D natural. Now this is a little funky because we are going down to 2nd position, so you kind of squeak it back a half step. Find your 2 where your 3rd tape is usually. Trill between 2 and low 3, A to B flat, and then slur in the 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's take a minute and do 62 through 65 one more time, a little slower. So here's that first low D flat. This is measure 62, 3 and 4 and. Now normal D. Okay, so practice that. Make sure your 2 and 3 are tight there in 2nd position because it's A to B flat. Okay, so now the next part isn't very difficult. So let's skip down. Let's go down to 85 with the pickup. You've got some 8th notes, just a 3rd position scale coming up in a minute. But here's the pickup to 85, low 4, it's like the beginning. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So that's probably going to be, I don't know about your favorite, but it's definitely my favorite part of the piece. It's so much fun to play this. It's very Mozart. So you're going down, up, down, up for your bowing. Make it kind of bouncy on those 2 ups. And we're just staying in 3rd position the whole time. So if you don't like that first shift, you could shift 1 note later if you wanted to go like that. That works fine too. Otherwise, make it a clean. Okay, and just follow the fingerings I wrote in there, practice it slow, and then eventually speed it up. All right, 101 is some of the same stuff again. Around 110, that's what we worked on back at measure 10, so that's the same thing. So let's skip down to the ending here. This is measure 124 with a pickup. This is where we have half position on an A flat, half position, 2nd position. You can kind of think of it just as a high 2. This is an A flat, but we're going to put our 1 right behind it for the G. Okay, so then we're available for the 4. That C coming up in just a minute. All right, so here's your pickup to 124. Think just high 2 and then sneaking your first finger up right behind it for a half step. 1, 2, 3. Back to 1st position. That's the end. All right, so questions, let me know, but take some of that 3rd position really slow to make sure your tuning is right, and then start gradually speeding it up.